Hi, welcome to the Craftsman Cafe. I'm Jim Connell, and I am here with Allyson Cayce. Allyson, Amy Shanahan, Kathy Young, you guys have created what essentially is a pop-up gallery. It's called Foulds Gallery.
Right.
On the Foulds property on the corner of Church and 2nd Street.
Right.
So tell us a little bit about how this story started.
Well, the story has been a 7-month journey. It started when I was on a flight on my way to Florida in March, and I met a stranger on the plane unexpectedly, and the story pretty much found me. You know, I wasn't looking for it. I wasn't really interested in taking anything on, but I got talking to my neighbor on the plane because my daughters were, sitting in front of me, and basically I learned that she wrote a book called The Mural Writer. I got back from my trip, I read it, and the story just took off like fire. And it basically caught my attention, and I couldn't turn my back on it. And 6 months later, through various people in the community, they have, all through donations, allowed us to use the space and bring these incredibly rare works of art to Libertyville for an undisclosed amount of time. We're working on about 6 months.
Okay.
Just because, it's the school year, I've got kids at home, and so that's sort of what we're looking at, but we don't know. It's sort of a roller coaster that just keeps going.
Okay. So this is really, I've never heard of the art described as marquetry.
Right.
So can you talk a little bit about what
I had
that is?
never heard of it either. It's basically like a wooden version of a mosaic.
Okay.
So if you have a tiled mosaic, it's the same thing, and it's made out of wood, and the wood that this artist, Ed Lantzer, used are diamond shaped, and he would start his art using 2 of them. He never stained them or did anything. They're just the original pieces of wood.
Okay.
And he created his imagery by placing the different diamonds in all these geometric shapes. And there's been mathematicians and artists, very renowned, who can't understand how he was able to do this.
Tell me a little bit about Ed Lantzer. Would it be safe to say, I read a little bit of the book, just a tiny bit. I don't know what right terminology to use, but was he sort of a savant or something?
Many would term him that. He was an often homeless man, and the mural writer underneath says the unlikely story of an outcast who fulfilled an extraordinary purpose. And what's so remarkable is he was a child with scarlet fever,
Okay.
who suffered tremendous damage to his brain in the artistic element.
Okay.
And yet he was able to produce such rare works of art. So I'm not sure what the label would be, but it certainly
Very unique.
suggests
Yeah.
some sort of savant. It seems like a lot of the most accomplished artists have had some sort of special gift with their art talent.
Right.
So he would fall under that category for sure.
So these are huge murals made out of wood, and he didn't draw, he didn't
No.
sketch.
No. The only thing he ever did was use a ruler to find the center of the piece of wood, because when you're saying large, like 4 feet wide by 8 feet tall, and each piece is 400 pounds. So what's extraordinary about it is not only did he make one, he made 30 of them.
Okay.
So he was about 5'5", I'd guess him to be, maybe 140 pounds, and he moved these works of art by himself.
Wow.
Which doesn't even make sense, but he did, and he created all of these panels by himself.
Wow. And he was a
So-
teacher too, right?
He wasn't actually a teacher. What he did is he went to a school where there were troubled teens, and the art teacher there, he approached to teach his art form to troubled teens as sort of a way for therapy, sort of a healing mechanism. And the art teacher became the author of his book.
Oh, okay.
So
All
Lachelle
right.
Van Houten was an art teacher and didn't know that she was going to be asked to write a book on this man's life. And so that's who I met on the plane, is Lachelle.
Okay.
So
got it.
the story sort of started with Lachelle, and then as it went on with my journey, was basically asking her if there is an opportunity for us to get them here, because they've been on exhibit in all over Michigan.
Okay. He was from Michigan.
He was from northern Michigan.
Right. Okay.
And often homeless up there. Sometimes he chose to be homeless, and sometimes he didn't choose that.
Okay.
But he passed away in 2009, and his last wishes were to create a foundation to protect and preserve the murals, and in an ideal world, let them travel around the country. And so they've never left Michigan or Indiana. This is their first time coming to Libertyville. So
to Illinois.
Right.
Okay. All right. Wow. Mm-hmm. Wow. That's cool. So when will all of the murals will be in the Foulds gallery?
Yes.
All 30
of them.
All 30 of them?
Yes.
Will there be a cost to get in?
No, that was also one of his last wishes. Because he was homeless, he wanted everybody and anybody to be able to come and see them. So we operate strictly on donations, so we don't charge a fee, but we will obviously hope that people will pay a donation so that we can maintain the exhibit.
Right.
There's obviously costs associated with it, but it's all based on donations. Anybody can come and see it, and we are encouraging that. And we will be doing that after the holiday season with an outreach program as well.
That's great. That's great. Libertyville seems to me to be the perfect community. I've often kind of driven up and down Milwaukee Avenue. Whenever I see a storefront that's open, I always think, they'll make a pop-up art gallery out of that. So it's a really great idea, and I kudos to you and following this call, this thread, this inspiration that you had related to the art. So you've seen the art in Michigan.
Well, I went to Michigan in June thinking I was going to see the art.
Okay.
But to be honest, I didn't, because that's where this piece has been so fascinating. They were temporarily homeless. And I say homeless because they were in storage. They didn't have a gallery that would donate their space. So when I went there expecting to see them, I only got to see practice pieces, things that he, like tabletops and things that he would practice on.
Oh, got it.
And that's when I realized, whoa, okay, I guess I need to help this foundation. And how can I help them? I just couldn't really turn my back on them. And I started this journey of trying to find a space here, which was really quite difficult to do because you're asking for a lot of space for free.
Yeah, right.
So
right.
That's hard to come by in our area. So when Lachelle came to visit here for some book talks, word got out, and next thing I knew, I got a phone call from a friend of mine, and 5 minutes later, the space started to take shape.
Right.
So
tell us a little bit about what you've done with the space.
Well, the space was basically an abandoned warehouse. There was, lots of things in it, but it was structurally really sound. It just hasn't been in operation for a while. So we had a builder out, and we had people look at it, and they said, they think the art will be safe in here, which was really our only criteria.
Yeah.
Something to make sure that they're safe. And so I've had friends help me, but we basically completely turned it into a gallery instead of a warehouse. And we painted the ceiling, we painted the walls, we painted the garage doors, we're installing heat, we're doing new lighting, just to make it look like a gallery, to pay respect to this incredible talent that's going to be here.
Right. Well, excellent. Well, congratulations on
Thank you.
Pulling all of this together. I think it's a great thing for our community.
Thank you so much.
So when you hear about the Foulds Gallery, there will be a Facebook page,
yes.
right?
Yes.
Take a look at the Facebook page. It'll be up and running soon, and just keep it on your radar. Now, one other thing. Are you guys going to be in the St. Joe's House Walk?
We are.
Okay, what's the date?
That's Wednesday, December 2nd.
Okay.
We're really excited about that because we're sort of, we feel like this is a home for Ed's artwork. And so it's what better time to sort of launch this than on the House Walk when people are excited about the upcoming holiday season. And
right.
This is a beautiful, beautiful talent that we're lucky to share.
That's excellent. Well, congrats, and
thank you.
Look forward to checking out the art.
Thank you so much, Jim.
All right. Is that it? I think that's cool. Does that work out all right for you?
I've never done this before, so you guys tell me.